If not, I'll go back to full screen, just let me know. It should be a little less jumpy now. So these three NPCs are heroes. The difference between heroes and henchmen is that henchmen, you cannot control their skills, and heroes, you actually can. So I actually have control over the attributes that these heroes have, and I can set up what I want their build to be. So that was the benefit of once heroes were added. So even though technically the game didn't have heroes at this point, I'm going to use them because they're the closest thing to real players that I have. And I will still continue to read all the dialogue that I can that isn't cutscene. Fear the Charge General Bonfaz Burntfur is planning a mass raid on the wall. Head north into enemy territory and find out what that mangy beast has planned. Okay. I keep wanting to click 1 because it's so like ingrained in my mind that it's my auto attack. Just gotta get that out of my head. It's not my auto attack anymore. So, as expected, pretty much one-shotting everything, maybe two-shotting. It's kind of to be expected. There wasn't really dynamic scaling in the original Guild Wars, so it was a bit awkward when you were trying to help others. They didn't really, you weren't scaled down, so if you had a max level person with you in the high level content, you just kinda rolled through it all. So I'll quickly run down the skills on my bar, since I'll probably be using this build throughout most of the playthrough. Throw Dirt is basically a point-blank skill that inflicts blindness for 11 seconds, and also affects foes adjacent to the target. So basically it's like a little mini AoE blind, but you have to run up and throw it on them, so it's a bit awkward in that sense. Distracting Shot is a bow attack that interrupts an action, and the interrupted skill, if there was a skill, is disabled for plus 20 seconds, but it only hits for 11 damage, so it's a very weak damage, but it interrupts. Barrage, which is in Guild Wars 2 as the Rain of Arrows, not really the same here. Your bow attack, this is like a modifier on your base attack. It deals plus 20 damage and hits 5 foes adjacent to your target, but all your preparations are removed. And preparations are things like this: read the wind. Your arrows move twice as fast. So basically it removes all modifiers you might have been having on your yourself and then shoots. Troll Ungent pretty much works the same as it does in Guild Wars 2. The major difference is that, like, it's basically just health regen. The difference is that it isn't for your pet as well, and you can actually maintain it. And you couldn't always, but they changed it so you can. So it's got 10-second recharge, 13-second duration, 3-second casts. You can permanently maintain it if you want to. Whirling Defense is a stance, so just like a stance in Guild Wars 2. You have a 75% chance to block, and whenever you block a projectile attack, you deal damage to adjacent foes, so foes adjacent to you. Favorable Winds is a nature spirit, so it's basically just like the spirits in Guild Wars 2. You put them down, and then within an area, a large AoE, that the party gets the effect. Arrows move twice as fast and hit for plus 6 damage. Comfort Animal, this is your pet healing skill. Your pet will get healed, and it resurrects your pet if your pet's dead. And then Sunspear Bird Signet is a signet. It's just your basic res signet, except it's modified because it pulls them to my location There were actually a lot of different resurrection skills in Guild Wars 1. And I have no idea why things are jumping around. I'm definitely going to have that figured out for next time. I'm very sorry about that. I should have run a couple more tests. Oh my goodness. It's not a ping issue. The average ping is fine. I have no idea. Okay, so this was actually something that showed up in the pre-series, but I'll explain it now. Enemies that are highlighted like this are enemies that are bosses, and each color corresponds to a particular profession. In this game, enemies have professions as well, similar to how they do in Guild Wars 2, but it was a bit more, I don't know, easy in this. It was easy to identify. So this green would be Ranger, and when you kill a boss enemy in this game, you get morale, which boosts your HP and energy. So I have a little extra energy, or mana as I call it, and HP because of the morale bonus. Continue on our quest. Suppose I can also show how gearing was. So one thing you'll notice right away is that the armor value is much lower in this game. Only 40 armor on 40, 70, 70, 70, 70. So this is a bit lacking, but everything else is pretty much 70. But it is all max gear. And what I have for the runes is Frostbound, which is armor versus elemental damage, and specifically extra armor versus cold damage, as Frostbound would imply. And then my bow is green, which is kind of like the equivalent of an exotic, I guess, in Guild Wars 2. So it's like a named, very special item. And I'm using Drago's Flatbow, which is the largest bow in the game, just size-wise. And as a flat bow, it also has higher range than a longbow because it has a higher arc. But it also, because of the higher arc, means it has a higher chance to miss if enemies are moving. And I have other weapon sets, but probably for the most part, just gonna be rolling flat bow. So basically how you played Ranger in Guild Wars 1, at least in PvE, at least the build I'm running, is basically you would just spam barrage, and that was pretty much how Ranger was played. You just spam barrage to your heart's content. Because AoE was pretty much king in Guild Wars 1. Which, to some degree, I'd say that's still true. And Guild Wars 2 as well. AoE is pretty good. So we run across this little battle between gargoyles and Brawl. So basically, they just don't like each other. But we don't like either of them, so we just come in and kill them. So this guy is highlighted in red. This implies he's an elementalist. And he's dead. And I believe this is where our bonus objective starts. We have this wreckage here. We have Kiln Testibreeze Keys. I don't know how to pronounce it, but we have it. And there is the guy himself. So basically we want to be on the lookout for all these wreckages, and we need to collect 4 of them for the bonus objective, if memory serves. So these guys are Mesmers, and basically all of your buffs and debuffs just appear here. But the difference was you can basically customize your effects to put them everywhere. Like wherever you wanted to put stuff in this game, you could pretty much put stuff. So that was pretty nice. I guess I could put the dialogue options on. I think that's a feature that Guild Wars 2 slightly lacks. It's not quite as customizable UI-wise. It'd be nice to bring that back. And I keep hitting 1, which is why my character keeps running forward. Because he really wants to throw dirt on things. Instead of just, you know, attacking it like a normal person. Slideshow. So this guy is green and a ranger, and he dies. So now we have his pauldron, and I think, yeah, Kiln himself is way over here. I do not recall, however, if well, we'll at least activate the bonus objective as long as we're over here. We'll have to backtrack a little bit, but that's fine. It's got this ghostly dude. In life I was known as the champion of Sirmia. In death I am but a restless spirit. Please help me. The enchanted armor that sealed my tomb has been stolen. Find it and return it to me so that I may pass into the rift. So at this point we realize that there are 4 pieces of his armor that we are looking for. And we go to find them. As we get a bit turned around. But it works out because there is wreckage, which is this just, I think that's just the reset wreckage. We've already got that one, so we will not go back and get it again. And I think, at least for these early missions, I'm going to replace favorable winds with a running skill, because running everywhere is a bit slow. And there was no jump in Guild Wars 1, so kinda looks like you should be able to go down this itty bitty cliff, but Nope. That cliff is impassable terrain. You're crazy if you think you can get through that. I am walking. Now I'm here. Magic. I'm magical! So we find his greaves. And I'm going to check really quick on a map where his last piece is. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3. Interesting. Looks like we should have them all, but we don't. Perhaps that wasn't just a respawn wreckage. Gotta go down the stairs. Okay, so that's 3, 4. Interesting. Already have that stuff. Perhaps it's this way? We miss a wreckage. Ah, we did. Unless this is not one of the proper ones. We shall see. Nope, it is. So we have all 4 pieces of his gear. His crest is actually just a shield. But we have all the gear. So now we can go give him his gear and he'll be very happy. We'll take this little shortcut of sorts. And then once we've completed the bonus objective, we shall be back on our way to the main quest. Congratulations, your team has successfully returned his armor to his tomb. I remember your kindness when we meet again in the underworld, as my party glitches around like crazy. So, sword popped up, and that is how it denotes that we have completed this quest. Actually, going to be curious to see how some of the other bonus missions go, since I haven't completed all of them. Which means I really like this one. I know a lot of the early ones I understand and have done because just they're rather straightforward. Some of the other ones are not so straightforward, so we'll see. But back to the mission at hand. We shall see So we have some char up here. Char look a bit different, let's say. Not quite as easily recognizable as cat-like. And in this game, the only playable race was human. You could only make human, and none of the other races mattered. So, gonna be a little cutscene up here, so I'm going to mute.
The Char invasion force. Captain Calhan was right. They've spotted us! Back to the wall!
So, funnily enough, you can actually just turn around and fight these guys if you're over-leveled like I am, and the game doesn't really care. Like, it's a lot of char, but it's not like... they're not that scary. You can just kill them, but... technically, it's like, oh crap, there's a lot of char chasing us. So we run. There's some devourers here to distract us, but we really don't have to worry about them. Only thing that matters is getting back to the wall. Something I also forgot to mention. You can actually click these numbers and you can pop up your hero's skills, and you can actually set them to guard, avoid combat, attack. So different fighting styles. So very similar, actually, to how the basic pet controls are, which is right there. So as you can see on the minimap, we have seemingly escaped the char and are making our way back to the wall, the Great Northern Wall, as is the mission named after. But you'll notice on the minimap, there's some more char that just broke through. So we get here and it's like, oh gosh, you gotta report back. And I believe there's another cutscene, so I'll end up muting myself again, and we'll go from there. But so yeah. That little group of char, since that other group joined, it's actually a pretty substantial amount of char now. And all these guys, you can actually wait until these things have died, and then they'll come up and be fighting during the cutscene. It's kind of funny, but I'll just talk to it out of the way.
You're back. Well done. What news of the Char?
Sir, we found Bonfaz Berkfur and the Char army in a valley to the north. But I'm afraid we were spotted. They come for the wall as we speak.
There are too many. We'll never hold them back. The wall is lost. We must fall back.
Retreat!
Regroup at the bunkers just north of Fort Brannock. We can't let the Char make it to the capital.